I'm a little nervous because those experts who go out there hunting for this stuff, almost exclusively sometimes, they don't want me to tell you what I'm about ready to tell you. Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. We're headed to the Commonwealth cabin and we're going to talk about a category that is just on fire right now. A lot of you know this, you've been communicating with me, and we're going to walk you through a few steps with it today, and a few other categories that are doing well as well, I suppose, and a strategy for those, you know, the rainy day strategy. I think this is important for folks that depend on this income coming in when it happens, because there's always ups and downs, and sometimes those downs are tough. There's one thing I used to do a bunch that I think could help some of those folks out. Let's go take a look. And we talk about things that are trending, you know, go up and down, and things that do well at certain times. I've even mentioned what I'm going to pick up now as one of those things. Cassette tapes for me have done really well over the last 6 months. But really, this video is not about those just kind of trending things. This is something right now that is kind of at a very unusual high right now. We're going to talk about that and the people that are capitalizing on it. And those of you out there who aren't, maybe you should. And then that'll make the people who are mad. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, original soundtrack. That's a used cassette, y'all, sold for $12 plus shipping. We'll pick 2 or 3 more things and then get to that category, and I'm going to give you some examples and what I'm doing today, and hopefully get a listing up today, maybe even live on the show. We'll see. That kind of emphasizes that. But in the meantime, let me know some categories out there that are doing well for you if you're willing to share them. Here's a Polly Pocket. I posted this on Facebook the other day because it was one of those 25-cent toy bins. And I took a picture of it and pointed, and I was like, well, that's in there. And it had, thank goodness, had all of the figures in it. This one is called, I don't know, baby, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, 1992. And this one sold for $42. Is that what it sold for? $40.80. So a quarter into that, you can hear the little pieces in there. That is super awesome. I'm not sure if I said it, but that's also plus shipping. And records have been hot. I don't have a ton listed. I sold a ton on Dibdit. Did really well. So are the records still hot out there, y'all? LP people? I think the answer is yes. This one I picked up at a sale because I was a really nice lady and there wasn't much there. But she had records for $1. I'm like, that looks cool. Tar Heel Fever. A Nashville Music Salute. Kind of love that right there. Anyway, I don't like the Tar Heels, but that's cool looking record. And I bought it and it sold for $11 plus shipping. We'll pick one more order here. This one is a viewer sale. I bought 2 things, so thank you to Brian. I'm picking up a VHS here. This would have been hot 2 years ago, but that was kind of a false hotness, if you will. That was something that really was driven by that grading phase and collecting phase, and there's still a market out there for VHS, and there always will be, but that was a kind of an aberration. The cassette thing isn't. Like, that's a used cassette, right? It's not sealed. Seals always go for more. But there's really not a underlying like grading or collectible phase here. It's just nostalgia that's working for those. So that is a sealed Bull Durham. This was highly, highly produced in that area. You got to go back to find stuff that's actually got a collectible content kind of thing. I mean, this is too, don't get me wrong. But there were so many of them that they're not worth a ton. And Brian also bought Smurf. I think it is in this bag. I see him. I see you right there. Let me get him out of here. Y'all, the time it took for me to get that out, I saw a sale came through, and then I looked back and 3 more had come through. We had 4 sales since I started filming. We'll add them on here. This is a little Payo-Schleich vintage Smurf holding some flowers. And this is like, I'm not a big UNC fan, but man, my dreams. Bull Durham, one of my favorite movies ever. Sold a cassette tape, a PVC Smurf, and a Polly Pocket. I mean, who wouldn't want to ship that right there? $11.95 plus shipping. So you've heard me talk a little bit, especially if you're on Dibdit and you're watching the live shows, about brass lately, how brass has been going well. That's not what I'm talking about, but I just want to throw this in here since it's metals. Brass decor has done really well lately. I used to just never pick it up. The sell-through rate was terrible, but now it's really, you got to have an eye for it and figure out what people are liking. Like owls are hot right now. So if you combine owls and glass, you got something going on right there. But I want to talk about gold and silver prices, especially gold. And I'm going to show you something and tie it into a way to kind of hedge your bets against some tough times reselling, because there's always ups and downs, and some people will say this is the best week ever, and some people are like, this is terrible, I need sales, I'm going to have to go get a job, kind of thing. And a lot of you have jobs already, but you get the point. And this is something I missed out on for the first 15 years of reselling and picking for me. I just never went to the jewelry, ever. And boy, that was a huge mistake. I have been over the last few years, and it's paid off. You'll see this little hoard I have right here, and I'm probably going to list one right now. A lot of people are nervous to list this kind of stuff, to sell it. You don't even have to list it on eBay. You could sell it locally. And we'll talk about some things that some newbies might need to know, because I'm definitely not an expert, and I'd love to have the experts chime in. However, I'm a little nervous because those experts who go out there hunting for this stuff, almost exclusively sometimes, they don't want me to tell you what I'm about ready to tell you. If you don't look for this stuff, it might now be really, really worth your time, because there is almost nothing ROI-wise. If you're buying something at a garage sale price that happens to be marked, and it's real. We'll talk about testing, and I personally don't use the kits. I've used them before. It's not my cup of tea. I don't even trust the kits half the time. I think they're pretty dependable, but not perfect, and maybe some people can chime in on that. I have just found a guy that really helps me with it, and I give him a little bit of money for the help. And if you've been watching me long enough, you know that I employ Reagan to help me with some of this stuff, because her eyes are much younger than mine. My OCD's gonna make me put the Smurfs back over here. And I have a different place. I have a safe in my house where I keep different stuff that I'm never intending really to sell. I kind of hoard it away. But back in the day, right at the beginning of this channel, maybe before, I would store some gold away so that when my sales were poor and I really needed the cash, I would sell it, either locally or I would sell it on eBay, and the money would come in and I could do what I needed to do. Gold and silver. And I'm not just talking anymore about just pure gold. I'm talking about gold filled. I'm talking about gold plated. People are selling lots of gold plated. I used to pass up gold plated. I just not even pick it up. But the price of gold has gone up so much that gold plated and gold filled especially, is garnering some pretty darn good money. And just knowing some basics out there, and you can watch all kinds of videos. This isn't going to be all about that. It's just going to be an encouragement to say, you know what? If you haven't looked before, and you're there and you see a jewelry table or something at a sale, maybe one that's not heavily populated. A lot of these church sales have a jewelry section, and you'll see everybody go to that thing first, and those people are experts and know what they're doing. But you don't have to be an expert. You can find stuff. Jess the other day was at a thrift store in town. This tiniest little marking on a bracelet. She bought it for $1 and brought it home. And she's like, hey, I was going to tell you about this. It was on a live show. She's like, this is 14 karat gold. There was 4 little gold shells on this black beaded bracelet, and then a tiny little clasp. It was old, it was quality. And I'm like, holy moly. I'm like, this is the real deal here. And she's like, yeah, how much you think? I'm like, I don't know. Because really, I would take the thing apart, weigh the gold out exactly by grams and sell it. But some jewelry, a lot of jewelry has a higher value in being jewelry on top of the gold. But she's like, I'll just sell it live. I paid $1 on a live show. Little bit of gold sold for, I think, $112 for her. It is super, super hot. She sold some sterling on that show that she picked up for $1 as well. Sterling is not nearly worth gold, obviously, but let's look at the prices. So I've made a mess to give you a few different examples of how even sterling is really becoming worth it for some folks, and how different types of gold is definitely worth it. Even the tiniest amounts of gold, which I'll show you in a minute. Like, for instance, this tiny, these things are like feather light. Number 3, you know, Dale Earnhardt, 14 karat gold earrings, but they're tiny. That even has enough value to sell. And even gold plated, like I said in the past, I'm now separating stuff into gold plated. I usually label it in bags and stuff and just stuff it away and pull it out whenever or never. But I'm going to sell a little bit this week, so we'll see. Gold per ounce. I think the lowest, it was under 2,600 about a year ago. And obviously there's different, you know, 10 karat, 14 karat. We're talking about an ounce of gold usually here with coins and whatnot. But there's even different values of different, you know, types of gold. I'm not going to get into all that, because I'm not an expert. I just know I like to see higher numbers of carats. But just the price of gold per ounce is, right now as we film this, is darn near $4,200 an ounce. is what we're looking at, which is crazy to me. Thought I'd pull up a quick silver chart as well. There's different types of silver as well, but it'll give you an idea at any rate. We're looking, I used to think, you know, in my mind, you know, gold is, or silver is worth about 1/100th of what gold is worth. It's actually a little bit more than that, but I think the lowest, it was in the 20s, high 20s at one point earlier, end of last year. It is currently at $52 per ounce-ish, give or take a little bit. I'm gonna take one example in gold right here. This was a bracelet that I bought a bunch of stuff and I brought it home. And I saw some markings. I didn't even pull out my little magnifying glasses and stuff. I like to carry these around with me. I carry a magnet as well. These are tools that you can use, but just because something says it's gold doesn't mean it's gold. And, you know, you can use a magnet to exclude stuff. It doesn't necessarily give you the definitive answer. There's kits out there and stuff. But what I do is I'll just pick up stuff if it's cheap enough, if it looks right to me, if it feels right to me, and it's just a pure gamble. Because when it pays off so big that it's worth all the other little gambles. And then sometimes you find some stuff in there that's sterling, or sometimes you find some stuff in there that's gold-plated or gold-filled. A lot of old glasses are gold-filled, watches are gold-filled, and there's enough value in gold right now that you can lot that stuff up. I suggest doing it by type. So I wouldn't, if you're going to sell a lot of stuff, by the way, and I've said this before, the jewelry value sometimes, if it's a good piece of jewelry, it's going to go more than the value of the actual gold. But if it's scrap, like this piece over here, this doesn't even have any markings. I just have a really good feeling about it because it's broken off at the ends. And it just looks and feels so right. And it's definitely worth the gamble. It may not pay off, but sometimes it does. And so I bought a few pieces at one and brought it home and gave it to my daughter, and my wife were looking at it and whatever. And they came up with one that was the real deal, and I'm gonna sell that one on eBay. And y'all, I keep a lot. Like these are 10K, this is 14K. That ended up being gold filled. That ended up being gold plated, or no, gold. They may be both be gold plated. And there's just different stuff. This stuff hasn't been sorted yet, but you know, you find a box of jewelry or something like this, and you look at it and you're like, huh, that's interesting. Or this is, just buy it. Just absolutely, see there's a marking in there. I didn't even look. I have not searched any of these things yet. And it is so well worth. That's an interesting one too. I need to dig through this and find it. Sterling, you can find those marks like that. That's going to be sterling. All of this is sterling right here. I don't even have to match. And then the backs of earrings as well. You would be shocked sometimes. The little tiny backings of earrings. Pacific Picture talks about this all the time. I don't think I have any in here. But you can grab earrings, and some people interchange the back of earrings, and sometimes you'll find a gold backing to an earring that doesn't even match the earring, and you've got gold. That gold is worth so much right now that the backing of the earrings, if you get enough of those, you got some significant value. And these are some that we've labeled over the years. That looks like a sterling bag right there. And then there are some that are antique, that are super old, that may be gold, that don't even have a marking. And then, of course, you have ones that do have markings that are completely fakes. So I really, really highly suggest. And look at that silverware, too. Now, if silver plated starts to become worth something, then everything is completely out of whack. Silver plated just doesn't have much value in and of itself. But it has some, I suppose. And I have one. I'm going to go grab it real quick. And you've seen me sell sterling over the years. But you may remember when I bought this. It was like 5 years ago on the Picker channel. And I've just kept it. Kept it in a nice, safe, secure place in there. And if you ever need money, I'll tie that in a minute for a strategy for folks where you're going on vacation. You just collect this stuff over the years. Sell it when you need to. You don't have to worry too much about inflation eating away at these things. They're not. This is a hedge against inflation for sure. It's not always going to go up, obviously. But when you ever need money, it's a good time to get it. So, for instance, this little guy right here, I'm into this for pennies, literally, which is amazing. And 2 point, probably a little bit more than that. It's hanging off the edge. Let's just get it right. See if we can't get it all on there at one time so it calculates it right. 2.3 ounces. When I did it before, it was 2.4, but that's all right. You get the point. So this is a very fine, very small bracelet right here. And that right there is going to be worth $182.89. So that'll give you an idea. This one is much bigger. That one's going to weigh more. Sterling's going to be nowhere near that. Just figure it's 1/100th of the price. A lot of times you can get better value selling stuff off as jewelry, like this little charm right here. But, you know, sometimes you can't because you don't have matching things. It's a nice little chunk right there. That's actually sterling. And you definitely have some money when you have this much weight. I bought this for $15, y'all. It had a stack of stuff on top of it that wasn't sterling, and everybody passed it up at this sale, and I just dug a little bit because I saw a different pattern in there, and sure enough, underneath it was sterling. These aren't sterling right here. These are, but they're usually hollow or filled, and so, you know, sometimes it's better to weigh these and then to weigh these separate. People get an idea, but a lot of people who buy this stuff know. That may be plated right there. It just kind of got stuck in there. But you get the point. There is so much money. There's probably at least $5,000 sitting on this table. I think bare minimum. You know what? It's probably more than that, to be honest with you. I mean, this is a huge chunk right here. And this stuff is heavy, heavy stuff. Who knows what's in there? I know I have gold. I know that piece is gold, for instance, and there's a lot of weight in it. But I'm going to sell one piece off. I really want to encourage people out there to at least not be blind to it when you're out there. Because how long would you search for a video game that was worth $182 you could buy for $1, right? Well, this stuff's sitting out there, especially when you go to non-competitive places that aren't highly advertised. Dig around, y'all. Two other side points here for the folks that don't do this. Typically, you know, a lot of people, I get a lot of kickback in my videos if I find something that is gold, and I'll pop the price on the screen or something, and they'll be like, that is just the awful thing, whatever. But I really have got to caution people that there's enough fakes out there that you should not pay up for this stuff. I mean, you just shouldn't. If you're looking at something and they're like, oh, that thing's gold, and they want $50 for it, and it's this chunk of gold, well, if they want $50 and they think it's gold, they know it's absolutely fake. There's all kinds of things like that out there, and you really do need to get a little better at it. I wouldn't just suggest, oh, that says 14K listed on eBay. You really need to find somebody who knows what they're doing, or learn it yourself and learn the testing things and all that. I just feel more comfortable with going to a person. And there's different ways you could do it. You could literally just find somebody you trust who has a jewelry or pawn shop or something. And, you know, finding people you trust doing that is tough. But call them up. Say, hey, do you test gold and silver without offering to buy? I don't want to sell it. You know, whatever. Just get whatever. And if they're getting paid a little bit of money to make all these decisions for you or to tell you the truth about it without pressuring you into a sale or something, and you build a relationship over time, and maybe you do sell it eventually once you get to the point where you're comfortable with some folks, instead of just like, yeah, this guy will give me this for this, and he tells you this is fake. And if he tells you it's fake and he still wants to buy it, then it's like, So there's issues, but it could definitely be done. There are two people that I could go to if I wanted to at this point. And, you know, you could sell them. There's a lot of people don't want to sell it on eBay, don't want to pay the fees because whatever. You may get roughly the same amount, maybe more in some cases from some folks, maybe a little less. Tax implications and all that stuff. So you got to take all that stuff into consideration. One thing you don't want to do is just ignore this category completely. Unless you're like a niche down seller and that's just what you do. And sometimes you'll find stuff on what you think is just cheap jewelry. You'll see like the magnet is going to, see, this is definitely not silver. But sometimes people have these charm bracelets and they'll put charms on them. You might find a gold charm. I found one before. This one happens to be silver right here. So that little charm is sterling silver. It's not worth a ton, but you add this stuff up and you get a whole ton of sterling. You're doing good. Gold plated, like for instance, we got this. If I'm sure there's a bunch of gold plated or gold filled, you can lock that up. Those things are actually going for pretty decent money these days as well. So there's all kinds of options out there that you can find. There's one piece in here that is ancient. It's antique, and I believe it to be gold, even though it has no markings. Sometimes you can find like this one right here. I should probably sell that one. It is sterling, but it's got two gold rings right in the middle of it. I don't know if you can see that or not. And those are marked as well as this is marked. And so you can really find some great stuff that you can make some really decent money on. I gotta tell you, it really is a great strategy when times are slow and you need a sale. You can get it. Just put this stuff out there on auction. It'll sell. It'll get of any other item out there. If you put some items that have, you know, a track record of sales and stuff out there, and you put it out there for auction, you're going to get significantly under sometimes. And sometimes way, way under if it's really a gamble. It's not going to happen with this. You might get under a little bit. You could buy it now as well, and you'll get a sale. If you drop that price a little bit, you'll get that sale for sure. But on those times where you got to have a sale, if you buy this stuff as cheap as you can, just set it aside and save it for the time you need that money. Maybe you sell it all off in November to fund your Christmas. Maybe you do it right before the summer so that you can fund your vacation. It really is a pretty good strategy because you don't have to really risk anything. There's no inflation eating away at your product like a lot of the stuff we do sell. Some of that stuff does get eaten away a little bit, but you get the point, and I just encourage people to do it. This Hummel clock, however, does not apply to that. This, I think my wife found this at a home clean out we did a long time ago. $13.26 for that one, plus shipping. Either that or it came from Death Pile Picker, which is probably where it came from. I was chastised by a viewer the other day, probably rightfully so, because sometimes I'll go quick and some people aren't really watching and they don't know what sold. This is a Rode lip case. You're going to see so many of these, you'll get bored of it. Lip balm case. Well, it's not lip balm. It's some kind of lip product in there. Hailey Bieber's lip line, and it is a ribbon, but it is a phone case where you can put the the product in the back of the phone case. Anyway, $25 for that iPhone 15 case and a lip product. I don't even know what it's called. So 25 bucks plus shipping. I always do good with even low-end wallets if they're new. They tend to sell okay. That is not it. It's in the box. Buxton organizer wallet. And I think it's a lady's wallet, a purple organizer wallet. And it sold for $16.95 plus shipping. And I almost tripped over something that reminded me. My reseller Genie sent us some bags to give away as we start thinking. I don't want to think about taxes yet, but they sent that, and so we're going to give it away. Somebody just put I Dream of Genie in the comments. We'll pick a winner a couple of shows from now, and we'll send you out a nice giant bag from my reseller Genie. Code Commonwealth down below if you need some help. With your bookkeeping, automated, awesome people, good product. You'll make more money because you do this, in my humble opinion. And you can get 15% off if you use code Commonwealth. Check that out. The link is also on CommonwealthPicker.com. You know, there really, truly is a market for everything. And you see highs and lows as I'm walking past my plush, plus highs, lows all the time, you know, cassettes and stuff. And even NES games. The market on these is not as good as it was before. Still have value. Got to find the right ones. Don't ignore categories. This is a Batman. I think it sold for, what did this sell for? $12.30 for that one, plus shipping. I tend to say strike while the iron's hot, you know, especially if you're dealing in very volatile markets, cards and stuff like that, where you can see if somebody has a good game, the value goes up and whatever. It's a crazy world we live in. If I can find this, I'm looking for a 16 Pro Max, maybe. I probably should have looked a little bit better. Another ribbon, 16 Pro, maybe it's not a Max. I think this is going for $24.95 for this one, Rode case, and has the, I guess I'll show you on one of them. I've showed it before, but there's always new people. Yeah, there's a spot you can put this thing in here, your little lip gloss, so you take this out of there. I don't even know what these are. Are they lip gloss? Lip tint, so it's like lipstick, I guess. I don't know. You put it in there. 16 Pro, that is the one, $24.95. Plus shipping. All of those I bought, plus another case inside. I bought all of them for 15 bucks. It was nuts. I sold a backlit gaming keyboard. This is not something I'd normally buy to sell, be honest with you, because the packaging isn't easy and it doesn't go for a bunch. But Turner, I thought, might need it for something he was doing. He did not. $15.95 plus shipping. Turner's out here ready to throw a ball. Get some baseballs out or something. Gallagher, this one, I picked this one up over on Dibdit. I could not resist. I had a bundle already. I'm like, yeah, throw it in for a few bucks. Sold for $23.07. Single stitch Gallagher t-shirt. And it's a Hanes, 100% cotton, made in the USA. Pretty cool. I think some on the back too. Yeah, that's a pretty cool shirt right there. Sometimes we use things for decor, and this is the backdrop of the live Dibdit.com sales. And this was perfect to display these mugs in. that I never sell. They're not even for sale. I think that's the only one that's for sale. We do charity stuff with them most of the time, but you can find something over there. Commonwealthpicker.com. Turner's doing something. This Napa Valley case is sold. And this little case, believe it or not, y'all, Napa stuff can go for decent money. This one took a little while, but it's sold for $60. $59.95 for that CD case. Right there. Plus shipping. These two made themselves, well, you made yourself comfortable, didn't you? Turner's getting ready to play some ball out there. Means I gotta finish. Sold some Mary Kay right here. If I can find the right one. Might have to dig for a minute. Bore you to tears. Yeah, I can't find it. Hold on. Alright, it wasn't in there because we just listed it, so there you go. Pink Shimmer. So the boys are out here playing baseball. I have never had trouble selling Mary Kay. Some people say they have. Get letters and stuff. I've never had any issues at all. And this one sold for $24.95 plus shipping. Sold another Smurf. I am looking for a soldier. Maybe a Roman soldier. Maybe it's in this bag right here. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be in this bag right here. And I'll pull it out and show it to you. Not a big sale, but it all adds up. $5.99 plus shipping. Looks like we had another viewer sale about some Harley pewter ornaments. That one right there. They bought a lot of two right here. This one's kind of cool. I like this one. Love it. And then Rumble Wrap. See if I can open this really quickly here. This one, you won't be able to see it anyways. But they got a bunch of Harley ornaments. So 3 different sales, 4 different ornaments. Actually, there's more than that because I think there's multiple in there. So 6 different ornaments. So for $37.39 plus shipping. And the message says, Kevin, I love watching both your picker and flipper YouTubes. I recently bought some Harley ornaments from you for my son, and he loved them, so I bought the other ones that you offered. I'm a retired nurse and have way too much time on my hands. I recently made Christmas decorations from old jewelry and will be sending some to you. Well, thank you. That's very kind. This week for you to sell or give away your choice. Very, very cool. We might give them away on a Dibdit.com live show as Christmas approaches for any upcoming Christmas shows that you have. I really do appreciate that. Maybe we'll do a little charity, a little St. Jude or something like that. Who knows? Toys for Tots. So I appreciate that, Susan, very, very much. So here are the sales that came in after I started the video. Hopefully I'll find that. Whoa. Heavy, heavy. I don't see it in here. That is not good. It should be in here. Revereware. Maybe it's down here. Maybe it's over here. That's where it is. I put the pots and pans. See, even I forget every once in a while. Got a little Revereware kettle. If I can get it. There it is back there. And I picked these kettles up for $1 or $2. It's get a little dusty, but that one sold for $18.95 plus shipping. Next one is a hat sale, and I've been waiting for this one because I took a little anniversary vacation with my wife, and we were in a store. Really nice, not a thrift store, it's like a vintage store. And I was trying to find something I could resell, pay for lunch or something, and I just couldn't. And I decided I'd pay up on this one because I knew there was money in it. Matter of fact, maybe it's out here. Did I hang it up? No, I don't see it out here. Here it is, Polo Bears. This one, a flawless one like this could bring upwards of $100. But this one had a little bit of little vintage fading, let's just call it. I think he had 25 bucks on it. I talked to him for a while. I don't know if I offered him 20 or something. It was in a store. I might have paid the 25 just to be nice. You know, people out there hustling their butts off trying to do retail. Vintage is sometimes tough in some locations. But I knew I could make something on it. And I did. I paid for lunch that day. I think it sold for $54. So, you know, fees. I'm probably making I'm making a little bit more than 20 bucks, I think, on that hat. And I'm glad I picked it up, even though it took a little while to sell. Sometimes having the girls around to help with the listing. And Reagan's been helping and stuff. And obviously my wife. Whoop. I need to put these. I have these over on Dibdit as a... Let's see if I can get them all out of here. Come on. Can't get it out. I'll show it to you. The 2 pieces don't come with it. Those Hello Kitty erasers go for decent money, but I just put them over on Dibdit because I didn't want to sell them. Maybe I should do them on a live or something. Who knows? This one, they go for like I said, pretty decent money. This would be something I would never pick, never sell. It's even got an issue with it. But this thing, if you can believe it or not, sold for $15.95 plus shipping. People like little places to put their trinkets. Some of these sets didn't have boxes with them, and they still go for good money. This is an iPhone 16 Pro Max Rode lip phone case. $18.95 plus shipping. I hate to sell shoes, but I love it when they sell, especially when I have full bins like I do right now. These are, what do they call these? I'm so not an expert. Nike Air Hirachi, I don't know how you pronounce it. Shoes, and they're size 10.5, sold for $29 plus shipping. I picked them up for $1 at a yard sale. Hey, I wanted to give a giant thank you to Second Chance Treasures. He's a seller over on Dibdit.com. I bought a couple of things from him. I bought this and this right here the other day. I love Gremlin stuff. So does Turner. And this will probably end up in his stocking. And of course, I was an old Laker fan. So anyway, I bought that. And this is what showed up. Check it out, y'all. It's got a little tip right there. But a little dark on the tip. Thank you very much for thinking about me. That is very, very kind of you. Ryan is his name. Now go check him out. Back to the Future cards. Old Disneyland ashtray. This is like a perfect Commonwealth picker pack right here. I appreciate it. Thanks. All right, I gotta get outside and play ball with my boys, I guess. Let me know what's hot for you. What is selling? Let me know if you have never delved into the gold and silver, into the jewelry at all. I don't do too much jewelry that's not gold or silver. I probably should. I know there's a lot of money in it, but boy, it takes a lot of time as well. Tell me what categories are hot as we're well into Q4 at this point. Thank y'all for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next time.